Hey guys, welcome back to the Southern Rustic. In today's video, we're going to be making a Southern staple, the classic Sloppy Joes. Everybody that I've made this recipe for has loved it. My kids love it. I grew up eating the exact same recipe. This recipe was handed down to me from my grandmother. So I just figured I would share it with you guys so you can enjoy it too. So without any further ado, let's get into this video and I'll show you exactly what you'll need for this recipe and then we'll get started. Alright guys, I've got everything laid out in front of me. I've got everything as far as chopping goes. I've got it chopped and ready to go. You're going to need a salt and pepper, brown sugar, Worcestershire sauce, spicy brown mustard. You're going to need chili powder, red pepper flakes, garlic powder, crushed red pepper, onion, green bell pepper, and ground beef. That is all that you're going to need. So let's get this recipe going, guys. Alright guys, you're going to start off by preheating your pan. I'm using a cast iron pan. I've got it set to about medium low. And you're just going to add just a tad bit of olive oil, and this is just to help start the browning process of the ground beef that is going in. And when your pan comes up to heat, you're just going to add in your ground beef. Now that that's going, you're just going to season it with a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. This is just to help season the meat. But if you're going to drain off the extra grease, I would add a little bit less than what you would normally do. That's because you're just going to pour out the grease anyway. It's not going to get well mixed into the meat. So add just a little bit because we're going to season again later. And you're just going to break this down into little bits. And you're going to let this cook until it is completely cooked through. Alright guys. If you have a lot of oil in the pan when you're cooking your ground beef, just go ahead and remove the meat and drain it off, just to get rid of the majority of the oil that the ground beef gives off. Then you're just going to add in one onion. Now I've diced this just medium dice. And half of a bell pepper. Now if you are a bell pepper fan, you can add the whole thing. If not, you can leave it out or just do half of a bell pepper. Either one is up to you. And now you're just going to season this again with a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And you're going to cook this until the onions get slightly tender, because this is going to cook again for about 20 minutes after we add all of the other ingredients. So just go ahead and cook this until the onions get slightly tender, which is about a good 5 minutes or so. And then we will add the remaining ingredients. Alright guys, my onions are tender, so is my bell pepper. Looking very good, and it smells so good in here. What we're going to do now is going to add in our crushed tomatoes. This is just about 1 cup of crushed tomatoes. Make sure to turn your heat down to low because you don't want this splattering everywhere, because it will get very hot. Let's just go ahead and mix this in. I'm just going to put a little bit of water in the jar here, and we're just going to add that in just to get the remaining tomatoes from in the jar. Now we're going to add in the remaining ingredients. I'm going to add in about 2 teaspoons of garlic. That's about 2 cloves of garlic, a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Now we're going to add in about a tablespoon of chili powder. Add that right in. And some brown mustard, just about a teaspoon. You don't want too much. And for a little kick, we're going to add in red pepper flakes. Now, you can leave this out if you don't want spice. You can add in as much spice as you can handle. So I'm just going to add in about a 1/2 teaspoon because we can handle it. We're going to add in about 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce to give it a depth of flavor. We're just going to stir this in until it's well mixed. With your pan on low, you're going to let this cook for about 15 to 20 minutes, just until it gets thickened up slightly, and it'll come together, and then we will plate it up and do a taste test for you guys. Alright guys, I've got a plate and I've got just some toasted buns that I just heated up in a skillet and let them get a little brown with some butter. Now a lot of people eat these open-faced and a lot of people eat them as a sandwich. But seeing as I have a white shirt on, we are going to eat them open-faced. So just spoon you a little of the mixture right on top of your buns and you're ready to eat. Alright guys, they are done and I've let them cool for a few minutes. They're still a little hot, but this is what they look like. Like I said, I'm just going to have them open-faced. Now what you can do is you can top this with a little bit of cheddar cheese. It's what my kids like to do and it's still so good. So we are going to do a taste test and this comes out perfect every time. They are so good and so worth the wait. Now the mixture itself, the Sloppy Joe itself, is not overly sweet. You can cut back on the brown sugar if you want. If you don't want it that sweet, which is fine. Sometimes I feel like it's better with 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Sometimes I put the whole 1/4 cup in there. It just depends on how I'm feeling that day. But if you want to bump up the spice and make it a little bit more spicy, you can go in and add 1 tablespoon of red pepper flakes, or you can do half red pepper flakes and half cayenne pepper. You can add chipotle peppers in there if you want a more smoky flavor. I've done it all sorts of ways and they are absolutely delicious. It's a great family meal, a great lunch. I've made it for both lunch and dinner. It's a big hit in our family. So good, so good. So yeah guys, that's gonna be it for this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Hit that little red subscribe button down below and be part of the family here at Southern Rustic. Glad to have you. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.